Yep.
It'll be a good discussion. These always are. Okay. I always feel like I forgot to do something, but I think I'm good tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight, what's it? I know I didn't.
Shit.
Only 3 streams this week. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, you got a lot of spare time this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In a matter of speaking.
It's May 4th today. So
Yep.
It's Star Wars Day. Yep.
Let's get to the monitor right after.
Yep.
Rock and roll. Should be good here. Copy. So hopefully everyone's doing well here. I'm doing okay. It's a Wednesday. It's like this time is flying by, you know, this week. I don't know. It's weird.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's not a bad thing. Let's see here. Hey, what's up? What, dude? Alderon, man, David, that book is awesome, man. That is awesome. Thank you. That and the Leonard book. Wow. Hardback, really awesome. Great job. I hope you can hear me talking.
Well, hey, I hope they do.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, good, thank
yeah.
you.
There you go. All right, good. That's good. I was like, uh-oh, can't hear me. Yeah, no, it's really cool. Rocking and rolling here for God. I mean, we got a lot going on. Even with only 3 streams, there's a lot going on to announce. Ton of stuff in the pipeline. Good, Bill. So I'll give Bill, and Bill gets the early shout out. Hey, Godfather Ray, good to see you too, man. Whew. Keeping stuff, keeping busy here is an understatement. Yeah, that's a good thing, man. Always a good thing. And one of my announcements may actually have be able to take a week from Sunday off. I'll explain later.
Okay.
I got something kind of interesting. The new test bubble show topic I got. Of course, yeah. Where am I going to fit that in my schedule, right? But I'll try. So hopefully everyone out there is enjoying the week so far. It's been like kind of nice, overcast here, warm, but now it's supposed to rain like all freaking weekend. supposed to be like torrential downpours starting Friday. What's up, Katana? Katana's got that 3-year. You can't see his 3-year badge because he's got it first, but 36 months. That's crazy, man. Unger, good to see you. I feel like I'm forgetting to do. Once again, I'm feeling like, what am I forgetting to do? And probably nothing. And all 3 of us will be back Sunday night, which is cool. Hopefully I programmed that in. Yep.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to have Steve Winter here.
Yep. Anna, you may want to send another email to RM. I sent him another Discord message today. So,
okay. Yep.
Just to see how he's doing. So all my Sundays are almost all booked but one now for Gavin, so I try to leave one Sunday open if he's available.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can get him on a Wednesday. We'll see. Yeah.
The problem with that is we got a Casey Legend and Lore coming up too.
So that's true. So we kind of booked there too.
And then not next week, the week after, I have a junior high son's orientation at his high school. So we either have to start late or put it on another day or cancel it. Yeah, just because of I have to go to that. All right. See, while I'm babbling, I forgot. I missed my cue there. Winter? Nah, summer's not even here yet, man. Gotta get through summer first, Katana.
Yeah, winter is coming, but not literally, but figuratively. Yep.
So, yep. Trying to keep up with everything going on. Oh, jeez, Katana, that went right over my head. That's funny. I don't know how I let that one. That went whoosh, right over. What's up, Wanda? Good to see you. Good to see everyone.
We had pizza for dinner today, so we have had a doggy that has been very happy sleeping for 2 hours afterwards.
Wow.
Yep.
He likes pizza? She likes pizza?
Oh, she loves pizza. We have pizza day one day a week, and that is Minnie's absolute favorite day, and she always have food coma for like 2 or 3 hours. She's the happiest dog can be. She gets a slice of pizza. She gets a small slice, but she gets more per compared to her body weight that we
nice.
Get. Yep, so she absolutely loves it. So when I put it in the oven, Minnie can sense it, and she walks around whining until we eat.
That's cool.
And normally she will stand and beg in the kitchen, but she knows that there is no scraps in the kitchen. So she actually whines at the table because she knows, okay, she can smell the pizza, and then she knows that, okay, it's pizza. It's not, she doesn't get anything before she gets it at the table when we eat. So she loves pizza.
Nice.
Pizza day is her favorite day of the week, I can tell. And then she just passes out on the couch afterwards. And it's funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was like we had it early dinner or late lunch, how you say it. So it was like 1 o'clock today because I had a Zoom meeting with Dwayne Costa. We talked about the index, making the index for the 576 Atlas. So it's getting ramped up. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's why we had to eat early today. So and we had that at 2. So that was good. So there's a lot of little things going on here too. So
thanks, Troy. Long shot, good to see you too. It may only be 3-stream week, but we got some good content. Got the next 2 Saturday night specials scheduled already. Got that all scheduled out. Got the new show ideas ready to go. Yeah. stuff. So, I think I have all the books I need, but I think I have everything in PDF of all the books I have. But you never know. I'm babbling. We're at 150 shows tonight.
Who's 150?
This is LNL 150. And we're approaching 200 for Gavin.
Wow.
We're approaching the 200th. We're at 195 this week, this Sunday. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. So we have 50 more, and then we have to figure out what we can do for the big 200 show.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely. So tonight, everyone, sit back, relax, ask, come up with some ideas of some characters. And let's see, it's still 7:55, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to revamp my magical spell system a little bit, so and that will affect priestly magic a bit more than other magic. Yep.
Oh.
So I'm going to tweak it a little bit. So
okay.
Yep. Yep. So that's part of house ruling. Going classless and tweaking the magic system are the two biggest things that I will dig into, I think, over time and tweak. So yep.
Tonight, Clerics and Priests at Greyhawk. Are they the same? No. Clerics and Priests are actually a little different, but we don't need to get into the semantics of that. They are.
I think we need to, because
all right, we can do that. We can do that.
Curious.
There's a huge difference, actually. So.
I can't wait to hear what this is.
Hey, Signal, good to see you. What's going on there, April? Yeah. April was fantastic. Everyone correct. Does everyone agree with me on the DM's Roundtable Sunday? That was a wonderful show. Stiletto Assassin. Holy of holy topics. Hey, Rob. Is that a pre-raid? Oh, all right. Well, that's all right, man. Don't worry about it. You know why? Because I don't know why. Because I've been on more than 2 minutes. Don't worry about it.
Rob is.
It happens. People will come over. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, man. Whoops. Kill them with something. Hey, Timmy Knock. Yeah, sometimes it gets weird on with permissions and time frame and all the other happy stuff. It's not a big deal. All right, we're gonna come live here. Whew. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. I'm Jay Killer Gazumba, and with me, as always, on Legends and Lore, Greyhawk Mike Bridges and Anna B. Meyer. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
This is another Mike idea topic, which is really cool.
Yep.
Really a cool one. You know, you got your Clerics and Priests of Greyhawk. Now,
I mentioned this one before Liches, but we decided, Liches, let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we kind of grabbed that one. That was more kind of a big, fancy, cool thing. So this one came after. So, yeah.
Definitely. Now, I'll say this once or twice, maybe, and I'll get it out of the way. Michael Baton. There, I'm done. All right, I said it. We're talking about. We're going to talk about published source for the most part, right? We're not going to talk about any crazy specialty priests of Zilchis for my campaign and Clerics and Priests of Greyhawk, you know. So I got that out of the way there.
That was all I wanted to talk about.
I don't want to bore the audience with Michael Batonisms and stuff.
But you know me, I'm going out for the esoteric things, but we have discussions like this. I'm kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's professional. I was a cleric, though. That's funny. So, we already had a question come up that Anna has.
Oh, good.
And that was your question on what are the difference between clerics and priests?
Yeah, you said it was a different. I was kind of curious.
It's a big difference.
Is it more like a rules-based difference? Or okay, yeah.
So, 1E, 2E. 1E was a cleric. This is if I have this wrong, anyone out there, you tell me. The 1E cleric was based on the medieval era. holy warrior
priest kind of thing, or something. Yeah.
For some reason, they weren't allowed to spill blood. I never understood that. I guess that comes from some order.
Yeah, I don't get that either. And we had my first DM I had was adamant about it, and it was so boring. No one ever played a cleric the first 2 years we played ever.
Right. And you use footman's maces or clubs. Or,
it was just. But it was like we said, that they spill blood as much as swords do.
Yeah, imagine getting smashed inside the head with
a skull. It's kind of It was just.
The cleric wasn't using bludgeoning weapons. No one would.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, because there was no differences, at that time. So a cleric was a heal in first edition, pure first edition, was mostly a healer or a hold person thrower, right? I still do that a lot. That spell at second level, with some prayers mixed in here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But then the priest came out in second edition. We had a whole entire show on Gabbin about specialty priests with Eric Boyd and Malden. Came out and was specific to the deity with weaponry abilities. So a lot of the references that, like, if you go for Ever the Undying, Marklands, Bastion of Faith, Eyes of Evil, they're priests. But the one drawback to a priest is well, in my game, a lot of them can't be multi-classed. So the multi-class option for clerics still exists in my game, but not for priests unless it specifically states it in the class. So I could swear the whole no blade thing was supposed to be from a specific holy order. Yeah, Rob, but I don't know which one it was. It had to have been from a holy order back in the early pre-Templar days, Crusades. I don't know. They had to have gotten it from somewhere. Yeah. Well, Morningstars were not a priest weapon. A lot of people don't realize that. It was footman's mace, horseman's mace, club, hammer. It wasn't Morningstar. Morningstar was not one to start off. You would think, but it's not. It wasn't. So, yep. Well, there you go on that. So, in the original first edition. All right, clerics and priests of Greyhawk. We're going to bounce around a lot. Yeah, I don't think Morningstar was an allowed cleric weapon at the beginning. I think it came in the second edition. They added it. I could be wrong, or they added it in Arcana, Rob. I'm almost positive that Morningstar was a blood-shedding weapon according to in first edition rules. Maybe I'm remembering this differently, but so yeah, I think it was either Arcana or 2E that happened, Rob. So, but it's a good point. So we're going to go over and show you priests are very powerful in Greyhawk. Clerics and priests. Yep. Thank you, Valmoku. Woohoo! See? Yeah, I was right. Club, flail, hammer, mace, staff. No Morningstar. Yep. It's not a blunt weapon. I knew I remembered that correctly. You want to hear a funny story?
Mm-hmm.
So, the Holmes Basic box set comes out. And Alan and myself and all the guys that were playing back then, every single one of our clerics fought with Lucerne hammer. Had to be a blunt weapon. It was called a hammer, right? It turns out it's a freaking huge pole arm. Yeah. So yeah, all of our clerics we didn't know any better. We're kids,
and it had a pointy end. I think.
Yeah.
So
no, the difference between priests and clerics is rules semantics. So in second edition, especially, if you're called a specialty priest, you are more powerful most of the time than a cleric. A lot of I use the evil reference. It says this specifically as an example. All right, let's do this. Don't hit the wrong button. I thought I was going to do the Tim Tongue removal.
Yeah, a druid is a specialty priest. I like to look at the druids like a specialty priest in a way.
I think druids can have their own specialty priests. But we don't want to go down that rabbit hole tonight.
No.
If we do, and the reason I say that is that I know Leonard hated what they did with Druids in second edition. All right, let's go to this, and I'll show you what I mean. This will try and explain it with the Priesthood of Cayuse. All right. Right here, here's your expanded spell list for the Priesthood of Cayuse, and this is one of the first published specialty priests that was really good. And you come down here, expanded spell list, and it says, the listing below, hopefully this explains it, Mike. The listing below shows a complete selection of spells available to priests of Cayuse. These do not include those from Tome of Magic, blah, 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 blah. And then you have P, indicates a spell which is only available to specialty priests. Mere clerics of Cayuse may not use these spells. Okay? So specialty priests are really a step above clerics, where they
Is there some kind of ability score requirement? I mean,
there are, based on each. That's a great point. So what and you know, the forefather of the specialty priest is our friend Eric Boyd. This is his baby, was making specialty priests up. So there's usually in rules settings. Here, let me go to another book that shows it better. See, I'm ready. I'm ready for you for these questions. I am so ready. Bastion of Faith. Okay, another second edition book by Bruce Cordell and Eric Boyd, who does all the specialty priests in here. So I got to find where Heronius is.
Not a
right.
god that uses bludgeoning weapons.
Correct. And uses battle axes. I am so upset. At 5th edition, they changed it to swords. Why? I have no freaking clue. I don't get it. All right. So right here in the specialty priest, most specialty priests, all the ones in my game, have requirements: strength or dex or con minimum 16. There's your extra stat plus your wisdom base clerical. Here's your abilities. Here's your weapons. Any. Most of them use battle axe because they're called glory axes at this time. Required proficiencies. There you go. Battle axe. So you can use other weapons, but battle axe is the main one. And then here are abilities in addition to spells that you get. They're called their innate clerical / priest abilities. Right, and you get these as you go up in levels. I've modified them slightly. They get at 8th, they get 3 every 2. So and then certain spells. So that is the main difference. A priest is a specialty priest. It's their deity is their life, and they are, you know, dedicated to it. They get abilities. These are, you know, you don't have to even memorize these spells. These are once per day most of the time abilities you get, and that's the way the priest works. Hopefully that explains it, Mike. Yep. So,
I've forgotten that.
You forgot all that.
Some of it I've forgotten, and I didn't remember because I haven't had general clerics in forever in my game. So I've only had specialty priests since third edition days.
They did not get rid of the cleric in 2nd edition, Rob. They do have it still. So, and in my game, you know, fighter cleric mage that's where clerics are for mostly multi-class. It's stupid to play a straight level cleric in my game. If you're going to do it, you want to dedicate yourself to a deity. It just makes total sense. But there are clerics, there are healers, especially in the Elven realm, or half orc fighter clerics. Cleric assassins were great for half orcs. You know, a lot of stuff like that.
Bloodwild's right.
Yes, cleric is typically polytheistic, and specialty is monotheistic. Oh, there you go. It's a good point. Yeah, Blood, you're correct on that. Or Crusader. Yes, that's another Eric Boyd creation. So hopefully that answers it. I'll shut you both out. You know, I don't want to get a little, you know, weirded out on you. We don't have to spend all day on this, but this is my wheelhouse, right? Mm-hmm. Specialty priests, what I'm known for. I have like 43 of them. No, 45. 45 specialty priests.
Oh, wow.
45 different specialty priest classes in my book. Yep. So I need more. Well, I have to keep on making them. You know, because my guy's like, I want to do a specialty priest of whatever. Brandon Maris is the latest one I owe. So it's my jam. Absolutely. Got you, Michael. I will get Von Mokel. I'll get you at the end. All right. So we're going to talk about some super high level characters, how important they are to the campaign, and then maybe some offbeat ones. So makes sense. We'll round table it.
Yeah. I do find it interesting, at least from my perspective, that wizards always outshine priests. That if you asked me to name 20 Greyhawk NPCs, I would probably name you 20 wizards before I name a single cleric. That's just me.
So I would say, yes, but because that's just what you're accustomed to thinking about. Like we can go can go right here immediately. Let's do that. We can go right here.
Well, as soon as you dig into it,
they
are there.
Yeah, like if we go right to the Boneheart here, you're going to think differently, right? So, and here's the bone heart. There's none of these. There's no pictures of these two women. It's a good place to start. Let's just start with the worst of the worst. How's that sound? Sound good? So Cayuse has a greater bone heart. And that greater bone heart is usually 7 characters that are so vile and awful that they are the absolute, you could call them the hammers of Cayuse, right? They enforce his will. Now, thanks to our friend Dungeon Meister, he has done most of these. He has done most of these in pictures. And, oh, you know what? So I'm talking to you guys and I'm doing this. Hold on. Here we go. So here's Althea and Halga. Yes, hideous looking, awful, terrible. But they are both like as high level as you're going to get. You're going to almost see for priests in Greyhawk. So there are those two, and that's Halga and that's Althea, and they're just pure chaotic, nasty. They're pure chaotic evil. So if we come here to the Lesser Boneheart discussion, and here's Null, Jumper, Masculine, a bunch of other ones here, Kerman, Mindbender. But you come here and on the stats for them, Althea, 18th level Priestess of Cayuse. Yeah, crazy powerful. And then Halga, 18th level Priestess of Cayuse, Greater Boneheart members. And they really don't like each other, but that's what chaotic evil does. So way too high levels. Hey, BB, this is nothing compared to the Forgotten Realms ones. Right, Anna? You get Harper's.
Well, I don't know that much about Forgotten Realms, but from what I've heard is that they are crazy high levels. So, yeah.
So Harper, there's 30th level Harpers running around in Forgotten Realms. So let's, yeah. But that's okay. I'm not busting Ed, so we don't. So there you go. There's 2 of them right there. And they have great armor classes. They're super powerful. They're as evil as it comes. Badass. Specialty Priests of Cayuse. Now, I've expanded on the Specialty Priests of Cayuse list. So they get even more spells that's in this book. So, yeah.
More power.
Yep. More power. So there you go. I started off with those 2. This is Cayuse the Evil reference. There's another one in here which we'll go back to and I'll talk about.
So Althea rules Molag.
Molag, yep.
And the other one, Halga, is supposed to rule the Vesvi, but it's not quite taken over yet, I don't believe.
Yeah, she hasn't been doing a great job at that. And that's a great place for adventuring too during this time frame. And we're going to talk about some other denizens of. We're going to talk about some people in the Vesvi at the same time that Halga's there. I promise you with mine. So I use the Evil 2nd edition, but there's no problem converting this to whatever edition you play. There's none. It's not that hard. The 5th, 4th, 3rd, 1st is basically the same. If you want to just turn them into clerics, that's fine. So hey, Taryn. These nuts. So yeah, note that it's not a tough conversion, and that if you ever needed help, I'd be more than happy to assist with that. So okay, so I threw the first shot there with yes, as big as it gets. So start with some big ones there. Mike, Anna, who wants to go next?
I have one that I think is the probably one of the most powerful power players in the whole of the Flannies, that is kind of flying a little bit under the radar, I think. But he's a cleric, and I think, or specialty priest, and one of the probably one of the most powerful members of the elite in the whole of the Flannies. And I'm thinking of Canon Hassan of Veluna, and
right.
I take it that he has a huge power base and a huge influence, and he runs not only Veluna, but he also runs
beyond.
His religious influence is far beyond Foriundi, the Viscounty, and far and wide, so to speak. And I think he's highly respected, so to speak.
So as of the 1980 glossography, I don't know why there's a 37 there. I put maybe that was I put down his age there in that book.
Yeah, and I think in
19th
third
level.
edition he's a 20th level
Okay.
cleric priest
it's a little power
of
creep there.
of Rowell. So he's really powerful. Probably one of the best ones to know what's actually going on, knowledgeable,
But
and
he's very old.
Exactly, he's very old. But on the other hand, he's probably powerful enough that he can disregard that to some degree. Yeah, in a way, maybe he might become a good lich eventually if he refuses to die. But I don't get the sense that he refuses to die. When Rowell wants him dead, he will probably accept it happily, so to speak.
Yeah. So and he goes back to 1980. So let me.
He's been around since the setting's inception, I think.
Absolutely, and as we let me. I'm setting up the giveaways. The giveaway we're doing. We're going to do some 2 classic reprints for the winner, like we have been doing, courtesy of Canadian Ancient Gamer.
Yeah, in Living Greyhawk yesterday, he's 20 plus.
Okay.
Rowell.
Yep.
So he's one of the few clerics that I would put in the Archmage category. When I was saying earlier how I know all these wizards because we have so many 20th level wizards and things. He's one of the exceptions.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think he's up there as powerful as Mordenkainen or of that elite, so to speak. Both from the political perspective that he rules a realm and all that, but also pure personal power, so to speak. He can probably put a lot behind and artifacts and stuff like that. And also he can probably command more people to do his bidding than most other rulers, because he probably is respected in a way that...
the Pope of Greyhawk?
In a way, that's what I was going to say. I think he is in some ways, but not the Pope for the masses, because he is a cleric of Rowell, which means that I think he's more... Rulers respect him and listen to his advice and stuff more than the common man. He's not, meaning Cuthbert is a religion for the plebeians, the common folks, so to speak. Rowell is the religion of diplomats, kings, and high and powerful ones to make them wise in their rulings and stuff like that. I can see that a lot of other rulers will probably seek him for arbitration and stuff. Instead of going to war, ask him what he thinks about it, and lawmakers and stuff like that will probably seek him up for advice or consultations and stuff like that. Peace negotiations, all sorts of stuff is probably where he has a lot of hidden powers that way, that and emissaries to courts and stuff. And when he sends an emissary to kind of say his opinion, that will be like the Pope sending it in the real world. It doesn't have any direct military power or anything, but you listen because it kind of has influence.
So note here, I'm using 1980 folio to prove another point. We don't know his name here. They just have the title, the ruler.
Yes, yeah.
His venerable reverence.
Yeah, a name was added in the 83 box set, and then further detail came in the Living Greyhawk, the 3rd edition era. Right. And there's a whole bunch of written up stuff in Dragon and Dungeon and Living, or the Greyhawk journals for Living Greyhawk campaign and stuff, and studied up. And he was also the wielder of the what heck now I forgot the thing that
Crook-a-Row?
Exactly, the Crook-a-Row. Yeah. So he's connected to artifacts and stuff too. So yeah.
Very cool. So you one upped me on level. I did 2/18. You did a 19th.
Exactly. I did a 20th even. Yeah, or 19th.
I don't think there's a 20th. I think 19th is the highest. Yeah, I'm talking about up to my playing edition.
Oh, okay, yeah, because in Living Greyhawk he's 20 plus.
Right, because as far as you can go, in third edition was 20th, right?
Well, you could go further with epic and stuff, so you can kind of that's probably why they wrote 20 plus. So yeah.
Mike, give us one.
All right, I'll bring this down a notch. Let's. So Hassan is the Pope of the Flannis with Rowell and all that, but out west there are priests and clerics as well, and the ruler of Ekber, the Caliph, is, much to my surprise, I forget this, he is a 16th level cleric of Alec Bar, as we later find out in the Living Greyhawk. Gazetteer.
Wow, it's bouncing.
But,
there we go. His Sublime Magnificence, the Caliph of Ekbir. Cleric, 16th level.
16th level cleric. It's pretty significant. So here again, we have a ruler, I don't know if Ekbir would be a theocracy necessarily, but it's definitely, I think, on par with Valuna.
When does it say he's Alakbar cleric? Is that in?
I think that starts in
Cup of Alakbar.
Third edition,
hey,
probably.
Tim, good to see you.
No, I doubt it. I bet it's third edition.
Third? Okay. So.
But regardless.
Cool.
If you just go with what's in the books, then you could maybe surmise it's Istis or something else. Could even be Palor. I don't know. Without
Alakbar makes sense.
having Alakbar on your list.
The Cup of Talisman of Alakbar adventure was retconned in, correct? In the Greyhawk, it really.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, which is a good thing. So there you go. You have a 16th level cleric as a leader of Ekbir, and we don't.
Very good, powerful cleric who has a claim on the Backlash Empire, the legacy of the Backlash Empire.
Is he? And Relmord, huh? Which reference, Michael?
Sure.
Tell me which reference it is, and is he the Relmord leader of Relmord? Is that Sea Medija? I always get them all confused. It's South Province, Sea Medija. So, it's in Marklands. Okay, all right. We'll take a
There's
look.
a lot of clerics in Marklands.
Yeah, so definitely. All right, so let's keep it with the high levels, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we? I got to close out one or two of these. I don't want to crash everything, and I can reopen them. All right. So,
I have a really high level too.
I got it. Yeah. So we're going to go to chapter, I believe.
Oh.
We're going to go to a chapter which is really strangely titled, which you would think, which proves Mike's point. I'm in the wrong book. I got to go to the second book. Thanks, Patrick. Oh, thank you for doing that for April. I got to get to the second book. All right. Wait a minute. I'm bouncing all over the place. Where's book 2? This is the box set. Gem of the Flannis. I need Folks, Feuds, and Factions. I thought that was in here. I may have gone by it. 1 second. Patrick, you're on a roll, man. Artisan's Quarter. It's got River Quarter. See, it's all in one big PDF here. There we go. Okay. Folks, Feuds, and Factions. I'm going to keep this one open now here. Mages and Priests, page 16. It's both. Circle of Eight's in here, right? A lot of things. There's, Morning Canaan, Big B, Tensor, but let's go here. And there's a whole bunch. So this is going to show us the power base, and then it's going to be expanded in From the Ashes box set. So we've got Major Priests of Greyhawk. So I'm going to go to the highest one I know of, and that is another Rowell Priest. So, Rob, thanks, man. Got us that hype. Good deal. Good deal. Really appreciate it. So if we go here, and here's other temple heads, and this is a great list for you. I think it gets changed and expanded in the From the Ashes as well. So you come here, Jerome Kazanskaya, Patriarch of Rowell. So this is the second Rowell. He's higher than the Archclerk of Luna. 19th priest. Now we're into the specialty priest realm, not just clerics. He's a priest of Rowell. With the almighty Cloak of Displacement. And look at this. Crooked Staff of Rowell. I wonder what that is. Is that the Crook of Rowell?
Yeah.
It says it right here. Crooked Staff of Rowell. So he has it now for somehow.
That's interesting.
Yes, it is. Right there.
Well, Hassan wanted to outsource the actual handiwork to his underlings. Yep.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that hype, everyone. Pop us over to level 2, and I'll do a second giveaway. How's that? Is that fair? We'll do 2. So choice once again. We got these 2. I'm waiting until. Thank you, Kai. We got these 2 here. You get your adventure begins and treasures, and then one of the adventures, including Veiled Society. You won What Evil Lurks, Lens L3, Border Watch, Bane of Llewellyn. So we got some good stuff. All right. Some nice giveaways, nice reading.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
God, Troy. Well, that just got us. That just crashed the server there for a bit. Wow, thanks, Troy. Thank you so very much for your generosity. Very cool, awesome. And just note that please, as we're waiting a little bit, Greyhawk Creatives. We have a whole team of streamers. So I like this page. I want to stay here a bit. Did anyone have any of these named or picked? So we're going to go over this whole priest thing is awesome. And this is why this Priesthood of Greyhawk box set was so good. Yeah. You got some of them, Anna, or do you want to go back to?
Please keep that one up because we should go through it. But I have another one that if we go by the most powerful ones, after Canon Hasten, I think there's a second, at least after the wars, there is another top priest that is one of the most mightiest rulers of the whole of the Flanese, and I'm talking about the Grand Prince of House of Nailax.
Oh,
the Overking of Northern Erdie, the Grand Prince Grinnell, and a Cleric of Hexter. I think he he's listed as 19 in level, but I don't think that his character level is that essential. Just like for Canon Hasten, it's their political power that is bigger than their personal. It's not the stat block that gives them the power.
Right,
it's the power. They have hundreds or maybe even thousands of priests that can do their bidding, and they have like enormous power from their political, religious power, and their institutional power is way bigger than their personal power.
Quick question, Anna.
Yeah.
Is he? Do you know where he is mentioned in Ivy the Undying? Do you have what page?
No. He's not in even.
He's not.
He's described in even the Undying, probably everywhere. And he's in Capital East Fair, so he's mentioned under that there, I think.
Okay, can someone give me a page number so I'm not searching through here? Go on the Zavota Index for me. Someone in chat or Quiquidus or someone. I can probably find it here somewhere. Was he ever turned into an animus? Is the question.
Nope.
Okay, so he never became an animus, which is good.
No. He was way too powerful to be lured by his cousin. Meaning he was powerful enough to withstand all the. Meaning that the Overking have to come and beg to him to get something from him, so to speak, when he started to get weak. So that's my take, is that Grinnell is a calculating bastard that doesn't fall for any, and he doesn't go to begging anywhere. He stays put there and rules his empire build over time, and probably commands more hellish powers than the Overking did at the last of Ivid of his craziness.
Two ends? It two ends?
Grinnell, 2 L's. One N, 2 L's.
One N, 2 L's. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Humanoids. Only North Province where Grace, Colonel Active, Bone Arching, and Irons are these troops still reliably control the ruler. Because Grinnell is still power. He's North Province, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So he doesn't. So okay.
Maybe he was even in on undoing the Ivid because he wanted to get rid of the nastiness going on in Rossi, so he could kind of take over. So you never know. I would get that he's a scheming guy behind he's the real power behind the Rossi's throne for years, and then when things got too toxic and too out of hand in Rossi's, he was there to pick up the pieces, or at least fight for them, so to speak. So that I get that sense that he's the cold, calculating, well-organized asshole that can really get things going, so to speak. One of the master villains worthy of any campaign, I think. Well, that's my sense of
I wish Dale was on. Dale, was on, because I know he's North Province. That Dale has the Highlanders up there. Does he have Thorn on their side, or is he?
He's he's their overlord, so to speak. He's the one organizing things.
And he's a Hexter priest, so he's lawful evil, but he allows other factions to exist for use.
Exactly, I think so. I get that he's a practical much more than an ideologue, so to speak. He wants power, and he wants efficiency and brutality.
I'm going to open one more thing. Hopefully I don't crash the stream, everyone. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put up the Greyhawk map.
Yeah, page 58.
Page 58?
Yeah,
18th
that's
level
what
Nailers.
Moku
All
gave
right.
us that. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe
No,
he's
he's House Nailax. He's the cousin, I think, of the Overking. So he's a Nailax.
there we go. Here we go.
That's why
Thank
he
you.
thinks he
Grinnell,
didn't.
Yeah.
Herzog of the North, 18th level priest of Hexter.
Mhm.
Cool. He's an odious man, overbearing and callous, treating most of his retinue as if they were congenital idiots. Oh, I
Yeah.
like this guy. I'm just
Mhm.
kidding.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of a
We can thank Carl Sargent for that. Much better as a Hextor priest than an assassin.
yes. I think that makes much more sense that he is the I get that Carl Overking Savener and Karlstrand is a rogue, and I get that he's much more the assassin type than Grinnell is. I think he makes perfect sense as a Hextorian
Thank you, Daniel.
overlord, so to speak. That
So, okay. So I'll have this up.
73 mentions. He's a big deal.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
I get he's one of the big political powers, just like Hasten is on the good side. He's one of the big power players on the evil side. So
All
I
right.
get that his yeah.
So
So
we
when
have
it comes-
this up
yeah.
here in the map. Here's the look at the size of North Province, everyone.
Oh yeah,
It's huge, and it's not. The Great Kingdom was completely obliterated with
Yeah.
even dying,
So-
but the North Province is still holding strong here.
Oh yeah, so
And
he's
he
one of
does
the-
not like the humanoids, right? He does not like the Bone March.
Well, no, but he will make use of them if
Right.
they can be used. But he probably don't like them and trust them much. But
Okay.
but if need be, that they will be a resource to be exploited, like probably every other resource. Yeah.
Here's the
And he-
Highlanders I was talking about up here.
Yep,
The
mhm,
Principality of the
yeah.
Highlanders.
So
that-
he has
yeah.
them as a defense against and controlling the
Right.
rabble up in the Bone March, so to speak.
He does use orc troops. Okay, Fuzz. He does use
Oh,
orc
yeah.
troops.
Yeah, he uses them. And he resides in East Fair, the capital of the North Province. And now the province, after the war, is the province of the North Kingdom. And in my campaign, they even upped the game and called it the Empire of Erdi, because they want to be the true claim. He
Uh-huh.
wants to up his diplomacy by calling himself an empire, so he can say that he is the true heir of the throne of Roxas and the Great Kingdom. So they're all competing. Three powers competing over who is actually the true heir of the ruler of Erdi. So it's North Kingdom and the United Kingdom of Elissa and Nyrond are all competing to be the true heir of the Great Kingdom. So in different ways, and the
So
Grinnell, he brings the powers of hell to bear on that.
So he has so he doesn't care about reclaiming Beaumarch and Spine Castle, or
Well, I'm sure he will, but that is not that's his backyard. Its front yard is probably to conquer and control as much of the former Great Kingdom as possible.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
yeah. That's
Okay.
my take, that it's the resource. It's backyard where he can grow things that he can use, and then
Cool.
his main enemy is down south. That's where he wants to rule, and to gather that. So yeah. So I my guess is that he will see Bone March more as a place to go to get resources and stuff, slaves and troops and whatnot.
Note the following. Once again, Priest of Hexter.
Yep.
His bracers, archery, longbow +3, scimitar +4.
Mm-hmm.
Not clerical, first edition clerical weapons at all. Right. So there you go.
No, but Hextorians are war gods, so
Yep.
I bet he can use any weapons of war he likes, and probably 3 of them at once if he gets 6 arms, which I guess he has that capability if he really gets into it. Yeah,
Well,
that would be my guess.
well, let's find out.
There must be a spell
Let's
or something for
go.
that. Yeah.
To Bastion of Faith.
Mhm.
You stepped in the trap there, Anna.
Oh no, that I did
Yeah.
that deliberately because I wanted to that we could deep dive a little bit into
What is this?
Shadow
Battle
Dice.
arms.
There you go. Mhm. There you
Specialty
go.
Priest Battle Scourges of Hextor, written
Yep.
by Eric
Mhm.
Boyd. This is in the back
Yep.
of Bastion of Faith.
Yep.
Battle arms. 4th level priest, duration 1 round per level. By means of the spell, the priest can create additional limbs from her upper torso, known as battle arms. Priests of less than 10th may create 2, so you'll have 4 arms.
Nice.
While priests of 11th or more may create 4, and they'll have
Yeah.
6 arms.
Yep. I could see that
Cool.
he probably has some special bodyguards that have 6 arms just to I could see that Grinnell has probably a personal retinue of a bunch of these with 6 arms each, just to show off the special capabilities of Hextor.
Yeah, the clerics can't, Mike. A cleric cannot use the priest of their deity. Thank you, Scythy. But that was the difference between the 1E and 2E. But then priests can. Clerics can't. Now, there's all sorts of bizarre rules for multi-class. Like a multi-class fighter, cleric, elf can use fighter weapons. It's weird, okay?
It's
all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, and then going to 3rd edition or 5th edition, you can make cool specialty classes that are attuned to.
But in 5th edition, all the weapons do the same damage.
Oh yeah, but they still have other capabilities in there.
Okay.
No, they don't all do the same damage.
I thought everything died die 6. Sorry,
no, you have from die 4 to die 12, I think.
Oh.
It is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but they're listed according to what die they're doing.
ignorant.
So they're listed die
I apologize.
D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, or
SOB.
2D6 or 2D8, 2D4 and stuff. So yeah, so they're basically the same spread as in the earlier edition.
This is a great one, Anna. That's a great one to discuss.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, both for religious, political, and setting perspective.
Yeah.
It's one of these cool, worthy enough of a masterability, so to speak.
Cord and Clangeddon. I especially appreciate both of those, Vosh. We love both of them. Yep. Love them. Absolutely. As Patrick's on a roll, too, here. Patrick
I
and
cannot think of
Cannibal.
any
Great thing.
Cord NPCs.
What's that?
I can't think of any Cord Priest NPCs.
That actually exist in the game, right? They actually
that's
publish
kinda
source.
cool.
There's none, and there's none in 5 shall be 1.
If there is, I can't think
Okay.
of it.
That's religion to you need to create
It's a
some
religion.
church and then some priests and stuff, and how you want to organize it in your campaign.
I have one. I have a
Yeah.
specialty priest written up, and Alan's got a bill. I'm sorry, my brain's fried. So Alan's got a specialty priest of Cord in the one group. And a quick story. I knew I wasn't gonna. I didn't want to go to, but this is a good story. So Hardby. This is pre Hardby adventuring when Slavers first came out. They go in and they cause all sorts of trouble in Hardby, and his character gets banned permanently from Hardby for causing trouble. Sven. Oh yeah, Sven the Red was also on. So we had 2. We've had 2 specialty priests of Cord. Patrick, thank you, man. You guys are fantastic tonight. So he wants to call a barbarian horde down one day and just raise Hardby to the ground when he's capable for revenge. So because he got thrown out because he was being naughty. So that's the story there, and that's got to be 1996, 7 back then when that happened. So it's been a while there. Just we've had at least 2 specialty priests of Cord in our game. What's his name? Eric. It's Eric, isn't it? I think it's Eric. Yeah. So I can't remember. So but yeah, Cord's a good one. Next year for the charity one of the goals we should have to play. No, Zump. Last time I played in a 5e game with Anna and and Will and all, we came in dead last in that competition. I can't.
But it was a competition.
I played in a I played in a 5e game, by the way, last Thursday night.
See, there you go.
Darling, and the vid's probably still up. Here, this is a good shout out. I got to do this. For Darling Creep Show and her fundraiser, for Dog Rescue fundraiser, I played the Evil Hag Bondy, which I made the name up, which is half Bones and half Mandy. Bondy the Hag. And I just showed, I got slaughtered pretty quick. Oh, yes, I played 5e. Just last. Yep. I know, I'm an instigator. All right, so good one. Yep, and Darling will be on a brand new show of mine, test for it, next Sunday night. So sit tight and I will announce that at the end. Mike, got one?
Oh, yeah. So many clerics, so little time.
This is good.
So you were talking about Grinnell, and it got me thinking about how back when he was an assassin in 1st edition, 2nd edition, the main cleric in the Great Kingdom is Spadaza.
Yep.
In the Siam Medigia. The holy, censor.
He was kind of the Pope of the Flannes back in his day.
Yeah.
So
and
we're
while it
going.
doesn't say in writing that he's Hextorian, I think you just have to assume based on the alignment of the land he rules.
Yeah.
Hey, Calstaff, good to see you, man. All right, so let me
What
go.
other candidate religions are there except Hextorians?
And
Well, Heronius, but since it's evil, then it's
there's others.
That's,
Sea of Medesia, right? SEE.
yeah, CE.
Yeah.
Why? What is that short for?
Z. It's like the Holy See in Rome.
Holy
It's
See.
like the Vatican. It's literally a ripoff of the Vatican.
Oh,
the
it's
Holy
under
See.
M. It's under
Sure.
M in here. It's under
Oh,
M.
okay. Yeah.
I think.
So I always used to like using
Sea of Medesia.
Shadaza because
It's 15th level in here.
yeah, and that's pretty respectable.
Yeah,
Any more details on what religion or anything?
No, not in here. Not in
Okay.
in the 80, not in here. His
Yeah.
equitable. That's a key right there. His equitable, which leads me to believe it's lawful and neutral. His equitable nemesis, the holy censor of Medesia.
Nemesis.
Yeah, because I got a sense that it was Foltus at first when I read it, because it was like rigid and
Foltus is big in the Great Kingdom.
Exactly, that's what I thought
Could
at
be
first. But
then.
then when it was clearly evil, I was like, must be Hextor. But it's because to me it seems like the Sea of Medegia was more political than warlike, so to speak, in some ways. It was like the religious
I'll
political
tease that
center of the Great Kingdom. But it's but that is a realm that I think needs some more cool development. Yeah.
So I think it's Foltus.
Okay.
I don't think it should be.
Yeah,
I think it's Foltus.
It makes sense to have it Foltus, I think. So that will be kind of fun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you know,
Either
I doubt
way,
he's polytheist.
Nemesis.
That might be too.
Yeah. Which
to
that's why
be,
it should be different than Heronius and or Hextor in this case. So yeah.
He was always the Cardinal Richelieu of my campaigns.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense to have
I like it
that way. Yep.
Yes. Gaetano agrees, I think, which is great as well. So speaking of Foltus, we had this big discussion last couple nights ago on the Cannon Fire Discord. When did the Theocracy of the Pale become a Foltus only worship place? And the evidence is back and forth, right? It
He's
says
not talking about timeline. He's talking about publications.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if we go, this is interesting, everyone. I want to give an attaboy to a dear friend of ours. So if we go here to Theocracy of the Pale, and I imagine it's under P. Pale. Theocracy of the Pale. His worshipful worship the Theocrat, Supreme Prelate of the Pale, 14th level. It doesn't. There's no deities. There's no Greyhawk deities in 1980. There are none. Right? They just don't exist.
In the absence of a pantheon of gods, you have to assume then they all worship the same monotheistic deity across the planets.
You do. And then you have, starting in 1983 or 82.
Yeah. But you have to throw one kind of joker in the game here, because in the Saga of Old City, when the Gord books, when he runs through the Palites and stuff, I think are the crazy zealot clerics and stuff. I get the sense.
It's 1985 though.
Yeah, so because Gord does a tour through those lands up there, and he gets the Tana host and the Palites or whatever they would describe, and they seem to be the crazy clerics that pursue him and stuff. Yeah,
but that's 85. Then From the Ashes comes out, and so here's one I have not brought up yet. So this is a pretty interesting discussion.
And it's listed in the 83 box set as the Theocracy.
Yeah, it is Theocracy, absolutely.
Yeah, so,
that doesn't mean single deity. That just means
it means religious rule.
Am I in the right place here?
Yeah.
No, I got to open up the other one. Man, I'm gonna have so much shit open here. It's gonna be trouble. All right. It was the other one, wasn't it? It was the other one. I'm dumbass. All right. So the Theocracy of the Pale. It states specifically that in that set that that is the first time. Oh, you know what? I am an idiot. I have it right here. I snipped it. Foltest is a power with a fixed resolve to show the one true path. This is from the Ashes. Right, portrays a tall, slender man, holds the iron staff. Worshippers of Foltest are often rigid, unbending folk, and many have taken refuge in a religion of such certainty after war. The Theocracy of the Pale worships Foltest in its lawful neutral aspect. So this is the first time I ever knew that this existed. There is friction between that nation and its priests and those who accept the image of Foltest as a champion of good. Many paladins and some warriors revere Foltest. So this is the first time I hear this. So and the From the Ashes box set, we got 90s, right? We got in the 90s. 85 Gore novels, Foltest, right? Come to the rescue, our friend, Leonard Lakofka. 1984, Soul God listings, Ouija, Goddess of Magic and Death. Last line. Let's see if I don't know if I'm going to be able to blow this up. There we go. Ouija is worshipped in highly lawful and civilized communities, including Lorel Tarma, the Scarlett Brotherhood, and the Theocracy of the Pale. 1984. There you go.
So they got cleansed in later editions, so, which kind of makes sense because you might play that out, meaning they might have had all sorts of early gods or Iridian gods, and then they became purer and purer, and in the end, it was only the Foltest ones that were politically tolerated, so to speak.
Yeah, and Bill, you're correct. In Living Greyhawk, they worship a lot of the natural gods that Mike pointed out as well that are probably fringe worshipped as well. Agreed. So just note that, okay, this is probably an oversight, whatever. It doesn't matter, but it's Leonard. So that's why I bring this up, that at some point someone makes a decision, and I believe, Sargent sees what the Gord books are written, how Gary wrote in the Gord books, and decided let's take this even further. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, that's my take too. But it can make sense from a campaign perspective. You can make it because religions tend to, from time to time, become more and more pure and extreme and stuff, and that means that the Foltest ones in Pale might very well be, and I think it says something that they were Nyron became a separate nation from Nyron, and the highly religious people kind of was persecuted and fled up there to form this more religiously pure nation, and that's kind of paraphrased from the 83 box.
By the way, to everyone out there, and Adam brings up some great points. To everyone out there, a little story Len told us. Here is Ouija's right name. I probably spelled it wrong. How do you spell the Ouija board? Ouija, right?
I don't know. I've never seen a Ouija.
He wanted to name her after the Ouija board. Her name is actually Ouija, and they said you can't do that. And that's how it became Weejas, Ouija. So her real name originally was Ouija. Yep. So there you go. Oh, yes, she's the goddess of magic and death. So there you go. So a little background on how we got there with the Pale, and this only Foltest is worshipped in the Pale realm. So just wanted to share that with you all. Thanks. Let's go to another publication. Let me just close a couple of these. I can always bring them back up. All right. Let's go to the Marklands. There's a lot in here. I know. Which one did you bring up again, Valmoku? We can discuss that one too, since you brought it up in chat. And we have, we're going to go to the Vespi Forest to start, if that's okay.
Sure.
These references are great, by the way. Vespi. All right, here we are. Here's the Vespi. All right. So this individual was actually noted in lore that Ed Greenwood made for us too. So 100 of enslavers is going. Yes, and we'll get to it, Bill. I promise. I have 2 enslavers. Great one, Bill. You're absolutely correct. So Calendrian, High Priestess of Labalus Enerith, the Elven god of longevity. As far as we could figure out, we had this discussion as well. She is the oldest published source elf in Greyhawk at 630 years, which doesn't make much sense when you think about it. Elves have been around for thousands of years. You're saying there's not a single one that's 1,000 years old? Grey elves lived to be 2,000 years old. She's the highest at 630, so just note that. So she is at the Timeless Tree. The Grey elves are in this reclusive area. I think it almost sounds Lothlorien-ish, right? But that's where she is, and they're just seers basically. And I can go back to this map, and here's the lands of the tree right here, lands of the Timeless Tree on the map, and that's where the Grey elves of Labalus Enerith are, in the middle of the Vespi Forest, and she is 15th. I think should be higher, but hey, it's not a big deal. So, and we'll get to a couple others in this area. Mike, Anna, you have some other?
I have one that is kind of a weird one that I guess overlooked, but it's kind of an interesting from a ruler perspective, and that is the ruler of Grand March in the Living Greyhawk era, and that's Magnus Vrinian, and who is and now we're deep into multi-class territory, who is a Wizard 9 Evoker and a Cleric of Heronius.
Oh, cool.
3rd level. So it's kind of interesting that Priest is probably the least, but it's a little bit of an interesting leader of one of the most martial realms in the Flannies is actually a Wizard Cleric. And a Wizard Priest, and not a fighting type, so to speak, which is kind of. But on the other hand, Heronius Priest is kind of a fighting type, but an evoker. It's kind of an interesting, and I think from a fantasy perspective, a very cool concept, so to speak. An evoker, Heronius Priest, is kind of a battlefield battle mage, a religious battle mage in a way that it's kind of interesting.
2 classes, fine. 3rd edition. 7 classes.
Oh, in 3rd edition, you can have a class for each level if you want to. So
yeah, 2. Yeah. I like 2. I like the dual classing aspect, But so is he a defender of the Grand March?
Grand March. So commandant of Grand March. So yeah.
Because you have Bissell here, and Bissell and Ket are fighting.
So by Grand March is I guess a staunch ally of defending the northern Sheldamar Valley. So
So it could be part of he assisted with the giant invasion over there too.
Well, they are one of these kind of martial realms in the middle of the Sheldamar Valley. So I thought it was kind of just an interesting evoker priest.
That's an interesting mix.
Yeah, so it's like a religious, a battle mage with religious flares to go with it.
So, Mike.
So while you guys are brought up multi-classing or whatever, it got me thinking of one on the list here, and that is Alvin King Heisendell of Sundee.
Yeah.
Now there's a curious one that I just noted today when I was
doing the research. Absolutely.
So in 1E2E, he's just a 5th level cleric and a fighter enemies accuser, right? Multi-class. He's an elf.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, in 3rd edition LGG, he is a 1st level fighter, 8th level wizard, 4th level cleric of Tritherion. I was like,
what?
Scratching my head on that. Yeah.
So here he's triple class.
Years old,
here he is Gazumba classed, right? So Lord Gazumba, everyone knows, is a triple class fighter cleric mage from 1st edition. This guy, the Count of Sundee is a cleric mage, fighter cleric mage. So he's 5th level cleric, 5th cleric 5, fighter 8, magic user 8. Now remember, they don't stack; they go all in the same time. So And then what they turn him into? A priest of Tritharion? That doesn't make sense. Because this guy's a full-blooded. This guy is not a half elf. He's a full-blooded gray elf.
I wish Gary was here and he could tell me who wrote that entry. Never mind that he would be 13th level in 3rd edition, right?
Yeah.
The Tritharion, I know thematically maybe it makes sense for him to be Tritharion because he's battling against whatever. But an elf?
Yeah. That's
know.
well, it's a good point. Fighter cleric mages can become very powerful in the old school. Now, all right, so they go up a lot slower. But remember, it's not like 3rd edition where, say you're not playing the epic, but you cap out at 20th, so you're going to be like 6, 8, 6 or whatever. It doesn't work that way. It's like you're stacking up because you're gaining experience. So, yep. Dave. So, something's going on downstairs. Can you, Anna, take over for a sec? All right, I gotta make sure everything's all right. My son's yelling something. I'll be right back.
Oh, yep.
Who you got, Anna?
Well, I have we talked about. Hang on a second. I need to get back up. The multi-class ones, and then I looked at the next one. Now I just need to. I kind of lost it. I put it in the screens. Here we go. So Bissell has another more kind of classic variant of the stuff, meaning a fighter 9 cleric 2. When the lofty his lofty grace Larrigan, the Margrave of Bissell. So they keep that martial religious tradition and throughout the Knights of the Watch, I think. So fighter 9 cleric 2 of Heronius. And the ruler of Bissell, so that kind of they keep that tradition up in.
Let's see what he is here.
Yep.
Oh, it's got to be someone different. It's got to be different Margrave, Ranger 15th. So that has changed because of all the fighting and combat going on in Bissell with the Bissell Ket.
Yep.
Especially during that era, right? Thornward's been retaken multiple times as we've had Bissell and Ket on. So, yep. That should publish Greyhawk deity from the gnome cat. So that's interesting. That's interesting there, Gitana, that you found that, mentioning that St Cuthbert's the first mentioned Greyhawk deity. So, yeah, because Thor and Odin were the first 2 deities Gygax ever used for his game, was 2 Norse gods.
And the fact that St. Cuthbert's mentioned also kind of really makes me wonder why he went with a saint, especially from real world named Saint. And like was in his original campaign, was he, or when he first bought the published campaign, was it supposed to be this? He was leaving it open for people to play Christianity, basically. I don't know.
My guess. My guess is they're experimenting.
Dark Elf, the stream has another hour.
Yeah, and if you hang out for 45 minutes and got to go to prep for it, don't worry about it, man. She, don't worry about it. You can go and it's cool. It's fine, no problem at all. So, my guess is that it's an experimentation, and Gary's trying to figure out how am I going to create a pantheon. Right? Maybe that's it, because St. Cuthbert's a real saint. Right? One of the few that's listed in all the Greyhawk deities, it's a real individual from history.
Yeah, he didn't, make a pseudo Norse or Greek god first. He went for a saint.
Joel.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of makes sense from the fantasy flavored, Greyhawk flavored Cuthbert. Kind of makes sense as a folksy kind of,
Daniel Boggs hit it dead on. Yeah. I think he just liked the idea of Cuthbert of the Cudgel. It is a cool idea. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Good discussion. So too. It was.
And look, we have St. Cuthbert of the Cudgel and chat on. My kind of show, may the blessings of Cuthbert be with you. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is cool. And you know, that's the neat thing about so Greyhawk early on is going in a lot of different directions. So you have 1980, no deities. You have Gary putting his deities in the base deities for it, you know, in 82, coming out in 83 in this. Right, so you have no deities here. Okay. You have deities finally here. Okay. Then you have Leonard's Sul deities in 1984 come out. So then you have the Sul gods, and a lot of them stick. A lot of them people love, like Ouija, right? Cord, Zerbo, they stick. And then you have in 1985 the Gord novels come out, and then you have a lot of discussion of these deities throughout. So I got that timeline right, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. Bill, the Master Crafter, brought up one of my favorite published source deities of all time, priests of all time. And we're going back to Hexter, everyone.
Oh, cool.
And normally I have this pick scrolling through and I forgot. So we're going to the Wild Coast. Let's go to the Wild Coast first and show you the town. Where is it? It should be right here. Wyvernon. There it is.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a couple of nasty clerics in that area.
Well, this guy takes the cake. But what's really cool about him is he's got this place Wyvernon running like here he is. Henrid Blarig. Blarig, 10th level priest of Hexter. There's he looks almost dwarfish. Wonderful Wayne Reynolds artwork throughout this. You have his evil gnome allies behind it. You can see 3 of them here. Yes. So, and it says, priest of God of War, massacres, conflict, and tyranny. He rules the town with an iron hand, forbidding anyone from fleeing the village, and rides a trained wyvern. His intense hatred for orcs knows no source. So, speeches usually include descriptions of orc blood running down the village walls. They have 5 times although orcs have tried to raid the village 5 times, each attack has been driven off with ease.
As a hero.
Yep, he's a hero. So that's a great one. Love. I love this book. It's one of my 3 top. Besides Free Growth box set, Markland's Eyes of Evil together, because they really should be. They're one publication and 2 halves, and then the Slavers are my 3 favorites. So nice one on that one, Bill. Yes, neat all the way. Lawful Nasty, absolutely. So that would be my next one that I discuss. Published source. Anna, Mike.
I have one that is both contentious, a little bit weird, and very powerful and overlooked. And I'm talking about Unfarin Silverbrow. Anyone remember him?
Yep.
Yep. And it's interesting because it's of Lendor Isles.
Okay.
But and has its seat at Laurel Tarma.
Okay.
So it's something that must have upset Len so much that I hope that he never read it.
Yeah.
I hope that he never read Living Greyhawk Gazetteer in a way. So because what they did was that they took the Spindrifts and jammed it together with the Lendor Isles and made one realm of it all that they called the Lendor Isles. And that seems to be the case. And then that was all taken over by elves. The elves were in that, and interesting because the Spindrifts were originally kind of the forgotten, one of the most forgotten realms of the whole Flanny, so to speak, because they were just there and they never got a write up. It was like the Iron Kingdom, Iron Hills Kingdom was another one that was mentioned as a realm, but then never written about. And the Spindrift kind of got the same treatment. They were kind of overlooked. And then they came back with a vengeance in Living Greyhawk, because then the elves from the not ever talked about Spindrift kind of took over the whole thing. And Lendor Isles, with all its rich history and adventures and modules, was simply overwritten in a lot of ways. And this most radiant Bo Habsehanin the high priest and Farin Silverbrow, the orb of the heavens, cleric 20 of Sehanin was installed as its leader. And that was kind of interesting. That was just a rewrite of it. It was not a change of history by it was just a rewritten, so to speak.
The
just
part of that,
yeah.
I don't have a problem with the elves just going, berserk and throwing out all the humans. The part that is cringeworthy for me every time I read about that section is that they changed the name of the country from the Spindrifts to Lendor.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of a human who started
the colony kind of the human.
Why would they keep the name of Lendor?
Yeah, exactly. If the elves took over, they would have wanted to get rid of it. They will call it anything else except Lendor. That will be
Yeah, if they called it Reltarma or whatever.
Well, exactly. That name might be ancient Elven. You never know, so to speak. But I totally agree with you. They would not keep the name Lendor Isles. That will be like acknowledging that the previous realm. They will probably want to forget that bit. Yeah. And
there was not a lot of logic. There was not a lot of logic in that era. I mean,
I must say, when it comes to the living Greyhawk Gazetteer, there was, because a lot of the cool lore in here makes a lot of sense and build on previous experiences, etc. But when it comes to this part, it seems to have broken down to a large degree, and that's what I wanted to say when I said it was one of the most contentious levels. So yeah, so this is one of the things that I think everyone who wants to campaign in this area and want to kind of make use of all the cool modules in history should probably look at the whole thing and then rewrite it in some ways that works for your campaign. I would do it. I haven't decided on which way I want to go, but I definitely want to adapt some of this material and give it first a backstory and then weave in the whole era of the Len modules and stuff like that, and the Iridian kind of invasion and settlements and stuff, and try to get the spindrifts in there and stuff like that. So I think that this needs to be sorted. Someone should please sort this out, this mess and so on, because I think it is kind of a mess. Yeah.
I just want to leave Len's work alone.
Exactly. I want the Len works reworked into the timeline from ancient times to post-war, so to speak, in some cool way. That's how I would love to have it done, so to speak. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
And this needs to be reworked because Laurel Tarma was actually not on the mainland. It was, according to Len, on that little island.
Right here.
And my explanation for that, now going to my campaign idea, is that back in the day, during the Ice Age, the sea level was much lower. So that was not a separate island. That was actually a hill overlooking a fertile valley, and the Lendor Isle was a set of highlands. So that is why I have it that the original Flan settlement, or Elvin, or whatever it will eventually be in my campaign, was set on that island. And then when the sea levels rose some thousands of years ago after the Ice Age, when the ice melted, then it became sitting on that hill, so to speak. So then that, because back in my take on it, some thousands of years ago, during the height of the Flan Elven, like just before Vecna time, so to speak, then you could actually walk from Lendor Isle all the way into mainland. That was all that. Yeah, so that was, most of that was actually like a big archipelago and part of the mainland, so to speak. Right. So yep. Mm-hmm. So that is why it was, and so the Iridians had it easier to, so someone colonized it early on, and that's why there can be interesting animals like bears and whatnot, because it was part of the mainland. So you can have a fauna and flora that is more interesting too. But that's just my take. But I think it's one of these areas. I wanted to point out that one of the most powerful clerics in the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer needs some rework, I think, to make it work. It's one of the most contentious ones. Yeah.
So, wow. Very interesting. So, let's go to Mike. What do we got?
Well, speaking of Sewell things, I got a couple I want to shoot out real quick.
Sure.
So I was going through some of the books earlier in preparation for this, and so I picked up Scarlett Brotherhood. I'm like, oh, what's going on with Scarlett Brotherhood? And
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot going on with Scarlett Brotherhood. They do have, little Sewell pantheon that they worship. There are probably clerics that are the high priests in the Scarlet Brotherhood.
Right.
The Scarlet Brotherhood are not one of the 3 ruling classes of the Scarlet Brotherhood.
That's true. They're not that religious, it seems like.
So I kept digging, and I got to Hetmanaland and found 2 clerics that were just so delightful. I never remember reading about these. So there's 2 villages that are settled by migrating Sewell. So these are Sewell towns in Hetmanaland that have been like devolved or whatever, they've gone native, whatever we want to say. One is the town of Lurga, which you could probably guess they worship Lurg, god of peace, right, and strength. They're ruled by Duke Kieran, just a 9th level cleric. And I thought that, that's pretty cool. I mean, how often do you hear about clerics of Lurg? All right. So nearby, their enemy is another Sewell descendant town called Sharba. And Sharba is ruled by an 11th level cleric named Countess Iranda. And she's a cleric of Brom.
So we are in, I'm sorry, did you say Hetmanaland?
Somewhere in the northern Hetmanaland, yeah.
Yep. Northern
so
Central,
Brom
so a
being
little
the
bit
goddess
south.
of insects and
Oh, I see.
industrious.
There you have Lurga and Sar and
Fun
Easter.
fact, Countess Iranda in the town of Sharba are cannibals. So there you go. If you want to have an interesting run-in, get your players in between, Lurg worshippers and cannibal Brom worshippers.
This is like going into the Brazilian rainforest here. You know what I mean? My gosh, that's thousands of, that's hundreds of thousands of miles. Yeah. Of nothing but jungle.
Oh, you mean square miles? Yeah. So it's hundreds of miles between them.
Distance between the 2. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's probably 500, 400 or 500 miles or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Scary.
So Scarlet Brotherhood, your mileage may vary on that, but some of the most interesting stuff is in the jungle section of that book, not the Scarlet Brotherhood.
You have a lot of really cool places here in the Hetmanaland, and you have some cool. So you have some other NPCs named here, major NPCs of Hetmanaland, starting with Anesh, let me see if any of these are priests. While we're here. Wizard Priest 15th Nevet, either a wandering high priestess of Uvat or an earthbound proxy for the spirit. Nevet is a tall, athletic Tuv woman who wanders the land, spreading the reachings of the benign Tuv spirits. Interesting. 15th level. Wow, that's cool. So you got a lot of neat stuff in the Scarlet Brotherhood. There's a lot of really good. Yeah, Tulsa Doom in the house. I had a Tulsa Doom in mind. A Ruggiero Blood Moon in the Karen Hills. That's a whole story in itself there, comma. So, alrighty. Let's go back to Slavers. Let's go to the very end. We have to talk about the High Priest of the Earth Dragon. And his name, and there's a picture for him in here somewhere. I think it's in the Earth Dragon spot, but I think he's right here. Stallman Klim, right? He's probably further on in notes in the temple itself.
Which is milk backwards.
Yeah, that is very true.
So I wonder what Stallman is.
Yeah, that's something else too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like what level is he? 15th? Here he is. Stallman Klim. 15th level priest of the Earth Dragon. So, yeah, once per day earthquake, which is really one of the most devastating spells in the game. Yeah, and he is, so he is an Earth Dragon cult. Yep, absolutely. And I think I have, it should have been there. There you go. Another Wayne Reynolds masterpiece.
Yep.
Earth Dragon skull. And
that would look good if it was colored.
I was just going to say, yeah, then you could really see the
details and
the Reynolds that
really,
you see on Paizo
the contrast is great
products.
on the
yeah,
white
yeah,
white.
definitely wonderful stuff.
Yep.
So Earth Dragon, interesting cult religion, you know. We could talk about the details, but I have a lot.
A 3E conversion of the Earth Dragon if anyone wants it. It's on Greyhawk.
Yes, link it, please, Mike.
Yep.
If you can link the
where please do.
And note that I have a lot of baddie Earth Dragon priests running around. So what's up, Gary? Gary, please hit your resub before Canadian Genshin, please. Please. Before he does it. Don't do it, Patrick.
Troy. Yep.
Yes. Don't do it. Don't do it, Billy. All right. So wonder what is Gary questioning is hyper something that Patrick said. Okay. So we're having some fun with this discussion tonight here. That's cool, Mike. So did you do that conversion?
Yeah, I had it was part of one of my epic campaigns back in the day where they actually ended up fighting the Earth Dragon.
Nice. How'd they do?
I believe they beat him back down.
So they neutralized it. Like Shalab, they neutralized.
Yeah,
what is the Earth Dragon? Oh, Gary starting stuff. What is the Earth Dragon? You ever see Excalibur? Summon the dragon, and all this mist shows up, but there's never anything. Troy did it. That's awesome, Troy. Thanks a lot. So, what is the Earth Dragon? That's a good question. Some primal spirit.
Yeah, I have an idea. My God article, I kind of listed him as an emerging power, meaning there's been enough people worshipping the volcano there, so that kind of made him take it created the deity from it, so to speak.
Well, we know it's at least a demigod.
Yeah, but this demigod gives them earth spells of 7th level.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And he's on here, so they get 6, except earth spells. They get 7th as 6. So they're casting Earthquake a lot quicker than 18th level in the old school. 18th level priests get 7th level spells. 15th level priests of the Earth Dragon get Earthquake very early. It's really devastating. Yeah, that is nasty.
Yeah, I'd say it's Flan. If he's been around,
a Flan power of some sort.
I get the sense that it's kind of been there for a long time.
Yeah,
maybe even pre-Flan. You never know. Yeah.
Yep. Stream crash. No.
No. Don't. You're still on. So
good.
Good points. You know, it's one of those just Earthquake is weird. That's funny, Amy. All right. So that was mine. We go next to go ahead, Anna.
Well, we've talked about the Pale before, so I can just mention it from the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer that it's his holy worshipful mercy theocrat Ogun Tillit, Supreme Prelate of the Pale. I love these titles from that one is fantastic. And lawful neutral male human cleric 16 of Foltus is the one that during the Living Greyhawk early Living Greyhawk campaign is the one ruling the Pale. So he's in one of the more powerful priests in the setting, I guess. Since the Pale is a fairly powerful realm because it has a lot of big cities. The population levels must be very high in the Pale because they have a lot of cities, several big cities up in the Pale. So
I have a feeling that this is me. I could be wrong, but I always thought the Pale was more. They were so adept, or they were so well done. They were more like Spartans almost as far as their armies. Like they really trained and had elite troops protecting them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they didn't.
No, but I can get that they're well organized. But on the other hand, they might be non-creative, so to speak. So they might be very well organized, but not good at taking initiative and come up with creative, new kind of innovative stuff. they're very good at doing what they do rather than learning new stuff and adapting. So
Okay.
yeah, they're rigid after all. So they're so they might be very good if you put them up in rigid formation on the battlefield, but to run a skirmish under the belt campaign, so to speak, they might be some of the worst performers when it comes to that.
Okay.
But it's an interesting realm for adventuring purposes, simply because of its, if you want a Kafkaesque bureaucracy kind of campaign, when that is the problem or the obstacles, then Pale is a kind of a cool, if you want just frustrate your players, I think the Pale can be a very
position.
Yeah, exactly. You can have to save someone who's taken in prisoner for various nefarious reasons or something like that, and have to try to get them out or something. That might be a kind of an interesting where you can have a lot of skill use, but then some skullduggery at the night and so on when you get frustrated enough for something. That could be an interesting or political diplomacy mission to go there and try to do it. Meaning you're not an adventuring party, you might be a representative of another realm and have to go there and do that. And then you can do the diplomacy way, but you can also, while you're there, if you get the chance, you can do it kind of the under the radar way too, so to speak. You never know. So there's a lot of interesting gaming possibilities. But I just wanted to mention the cool thing with the titles, I think, are one of the really good assets. Yeah. I love that title. Is super.
There's a lot of them going all the way back to 1980.
Exactly.
Great work with titles, which is really
and
neat.
Ogontillit, I like that name too. It's kind of cool. Yep.
That sounds like it's anagrammed or whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's an anagram to something. Yep.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Yep.
So
go on something.
Grodog.
Yeah.
Grodog site has it all the mix up, right? Yeah, he does. He has a lot of them, and who they actually are for, an Alan Growy's site. So, as we continue this, Mike, who do you got next?
As we run through some of these, I find that a lot of the priests that I am aware of, and I'm sure this is true of everyone, are the evil ones, because these are the ones your players are most often going up against. And I got kind of curious in my research who the High Priest of Vecna was in Vecna Lives, because I couldn't remember off the top of my head. And it's Dirac Malsinix, 16th level cleric priest of Vecna, 5th level wizard. So it's 2E. I don't know what level that makes you.
I thought I was prepared for everything, but I was not prepared for Vecna Lives.
Vecna Lives. Anyhow, his title is the Heart of Vecna.
What page is he on, Mike? Do you remember?
Oh, no idea.
All right. It's probably near the end.
Maybe towards the back, yeah. So Dirac Malsinix, and here's the kicker. Here's the only reason why I bring it up. Dirac, and I can't remember if this is a man or a woman.
There he is.
But Dirac... Female, right. Okay, so Dirac has a girdle of fire giant strength. That's weighty. So, you think you're going in there against some priest or wizard or something like that, and, fire giant strength, pow. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this Dirac is backloonish.
Huh.
Oh.
The High Priest
young too
of Vecna is backloonish.
Maybe Vecna didn't trust the flan of his homeland, so he imported someone who he could trust.
Yeah.
She is vain. I love this is where 1E2E gets in trouble. Dirac is perfectly aware of the effect she has on males, and she uses her looks and seductive talents to unhesitantly manipulate others. She is vain, but does her best to conceal this, since she knows it would detract from her seductive charms.
That's why they put a kind of warning label on some of the books. Yeah.
If there's anything for which Dirac feels passion, it is Vecna. She more than any other desires her lord and his impending return. Wow. Thus, any who oppose or impede Vecna's return will be crushed if she can manage it. I like this character. Wow.
Yep.
Moreover, this feeling is not quite mutual. While Vecna is quite pleased by the devotion of his high priestess, he would have no qualms about crushing her. Nice.
Gary has a good point.
I don't think qualms are really part of Vecna's MMO vocabulary.
Yeah. Okay. I think that was Vecna's knowledge of.
But it's interesting in hindsight now, with all the lore that we've stitched together over the decades now, that in that module, Vecna's whole conspiracy hinges on a Bakaloonish holy site, and the person who's in charge of his plot is a Bakaloonish woman.
Yeah. So now we get what happened to Vecna? Did he flee there after he
the flan god?
So actually after he became a lich and had because he had his flan
he has no more
empire
flan
and all
worshippers, I guess.
Do we need?
Well, the flan probably hated him after he ruled them, so he had to flee or something. So
do we need to get Zeb Cook back on to ask that question?
Oh,
I
no.
think that we should ask that question. That's kind of an interesting
I don't
one.
remember.
So that's the conundrum I ran into.
Yeah. But to
good
me,
one, Mike.
Yeah,
that's a great
I love the
conundrum.
conundrum, but it's also because you can make sense because he was the evil ruler of the flan, so they probably hated him so much that he probably, in order to for his own safety, and he wanted to seek someone else to rule because he kind of screwed it with the flan for because that's where he actually grew up, and they knew him enough that they never trusted him in
Here.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Vecna will go wherever he has to for the secrets.
Yeah, exactly.
No
So after he had his earthly empire, so to speak, he might have worked on his godhood and fled to the Baklooni lands instead of where he could be more appreciated.
Is it Vecna and Cayuse in Age of Worms or just Cayuse?
Okay, so bonus points then. There's a high priest of Vecna in Age of Worms named Darl Quethus.
Yeah.
Who is
Quethus.
Okay.
And he is 18th level and has the hand of Vecna.
Okay, and do we know Flan
Baklooni?
Do we know any of that?
There's no, as far as I could find, there's no background on it.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Eric. Yep.
I mean, there's a background, but nothing that
nothing that ties him
somewhere.
It's amazing how many people have the hand of Vecna.
This is but there've been several false ones too, and history as well. Yeah, it seems to be one of these sicknesses that can befall you in the Flannies. You can get like some sort of Flannies version of schizophrenia and think that you're Vecna, and yeah.
Excellent, great one. Okay, I got to get my. I should be prepping ahead.
I'm running out of
I'm good.
Stuff here, so,
I'm real good.
Yeah,
but I should have been prepping ahead in my thoughts and processes here. Doesn't one of the Circle of 8 have priest levels? Yes.
Maybe one or two.
Yes. So let's go there.
We don't usually go there.
We don't, but let's.
I don't think about it.
I know, but it's it is. Let's mention it. We go back to our second grouping here, and we go to priests.
Yeah, Rigby.
We haven't gotten there yet. Rigby's my last one of the night, by the way.
Well done.
Because of Exhibition of Ruins of Greyhawk and his story. That's a very good one. Oh, where's Otto? I thought it was Otto. Otto, Luke, Rary. I could have sworn Otto had a couple levels of priest.
I think
he does.
Otto
Here he is.
Backup guy.
Otto, priest 5, magic user 14th. So he's dual class human. Started out at priest, then changed. So so there. Otto of Almar. Okay, Vecna has 6 in his hands like Hexter.
Yikes.
Oh, you mean 6 fingers? 6-fingered hand, you mean? I'm assuming.
Oh, stop flexing on us, dude.
Yeah. So that's blood. While that could be very true, maybe it's a mirrored picture, or maybe it's just an absolute mistake that's the wrong hand cut off. Otto began life as an acolyte of Bakub in the prelacy of Almor, but despite his enthusiasm, he did not make good progress. His superior suggested switching to his career as a mage, and Otto has never looked back. There you go. So there, it's explained. We actually, one of the Circle of Eight was, yes, dancing and all the other spells. So found that interesting. I will do Rigby on my last round here after this. After we get one more from Anna, one from Mike, we will do Rigby. So Anna, what do you got?
Now I'm going through notes here. I have a long list of stuff here. Let's see if I can find someone that was.
I saw someone in the community just got this too. One of these. Yep. And it's good if you want to pass to Mike, we can do that, of course.
Oh yeah, please do. So,
Mike,
so
go ahead.
I'll see if I can look through my list.
So someone mentioned 5 shall be 1 earlier.
Yes, I did.
If there's chord or anything like in that, but there is a high-level priest in that module that it's Bamir Mandaric, Cleric 13th of Erythnol. He's from the Hold of Stonefist, so of course you want to kill him. And he's pretty cool because he has and I forgot this magic item existed, a Mace of Speed. That sounds pretty deadly. It's in the hands of an Erythnol priest.
That's good. I mean, so he's got a Priest of Slaughter.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool.
So that, I thought, Erythnol's got to have some high-level clerics around there somewhere. And that was definitely the highest I could find. Now, in that same module, real quick, I'll throw out the ruler of the Orc City, Geralt Ankdal, is a shaman, I guess you could say, of Grumsh. Gardak Bloodsocket, because he tore his eye out.
Yes!
And he has the powers of a 7th level priest. But he rules an Orc City of like 40,000 or whatever.
And there are none mentioned in the Marklands as well, but you have the Torch of Grumsh in the Vespi Forest, and all the priests have to pluck their eye out. And there's our Grumsh worshippers as well, fighting the Ayuz orcs and the Orogs, which they hate. So, yeah, good point there. So, good one, Mike. Great book, Expeditions to Ruins of Greyhawk. There's plots galore going on in this book. One of the plots is Rigby, who's been in hiding years after, he was part of the ones that tried trapping Ayuz, messed up or whatever. They freed. Ayuz gets free, right? And so he's scared to death and is hiding. He's a priest of Bakab, correct? If I recall, Rigby's Bakab. Yep. So he dies. And I guess he was a native Greyhawk Cityer. I call the blood socket name from Nasty.
I guess so, 'cause don't they bring him back to the city for a funeral?
Yes, a funeral. There's a huge. It's a party almost. So, but he was not in hiding. Okay, because I thought it said in here he was. All right, he was living in Valuna. Okay, all right. Well, that's cool. I appreciate that, Amy. He dies. They bring his body back. The Asians end up desecrating his body, because I guess they get off by doing that. I don't know what purpose that serves, but they do that. There's a lot, and there's a lot of priests of St. Cuthbert running around here, like Eratai Khan Ipsriel. She is an 11th level lawful neutral priest who's in here. There's also another priest I believe in the River Quarter, running around. He never wears a shirt, if I recall. He's bare-chested all the time, and I cannot remember his name. I'm trying to find him in the book here early on, and he's like, what's that?
Bare-chested who?
He's a bare-chested priest of St. Cuthbert. I know he's in here. He's part of. Here he is. Here he is.
It's like it ain't the high priest.
Father Caligor. Oh, he's not a priest. He is a fighter. Covered in tattoos depicting the cross of St. Cuthbert. I apologize. He's a fighter. There he is. Even though he proselytizes a lot, but he is he was part of this is all the person. Okay. Rigby ran the Bakab Cathedral in Verbank. I'm not. Did he? It sounds like he was in this. I knew Urag was his assistant and was part of that. Was there any coverage of the pre-built character clerics? Like the Isle of the Ape has a 19th level.
Pre-gens?
Have not.
I had thought about trying to look into pre-gens. I saw some of the pre-gens that were in Vecna Lives.
Okay.
That was interesting. I did not know Isle of the Ape had such a high level cleric in it.
I do not know who Keatum was a priest, but of who? I'm going to say Celestian or Farling is my guess. Am I wrong? That's a guess.
No idea.
Yeah, that's Gary. I don't know that. So that's funny. Yep, and that's from Mike's Greyhawk. Oh, it's Greyhawk Online Greyhawk Wiki. We don't.
Yep.
I don't link to
I have
that,
one from the
sorry.
Priesthood era after this. Yep.
Yeah, so just note that a sidebar in this Expeditions to Ruins of Greyhawk is, for some reason, there's an Iusian plot throughout the whole thing, but they really get off on desecrating his coffin body, the whole thing. It's a little bizarre, but it's kind of poetic, I guess.
Yeah, it's following one of the threads from Eyes the Evil, where Eyes really has a grudge against certain people, and that's on Rigby's on the list.
Rigby's on that list, yeah, absolutely.
And he's not letting death escape him.
I don't know who that is, Cynican. Who's Scott Chip? Am I missing something?
Scott Chip.
I don't know that.
Oh, okay.
Mike,
no.
Cynican, I don't know that.
Sorry, man.
Elaborate. Look.
Blow our minds.
Asking you shall receive the ever mysterious Tim shows up. The answer's in the Greyhawk box set, Grendelwolf, for what? Yep. God traps are very frustrating, but
yes, they are.
Yes.
Yep.
The priests of the putrid tongue.
Oh.
Yes, we had some, but remember, I didn't want to go off published source, so. Yes, the Travis Crabtree was the head of the mongrels. It was a cleric mage, if I recall correctly. He was a special mix. He was the secret that did not get out of how to breed an elf and an orc, which, according to the original Monster Manual, you cannot do. So, yep, that's
an elk.
What's that?
An elk.
Priests are not popular in Keeland. Well, I have a lot of Benidorm priests now, and
it's true.
From Keeland. So,
cool. Yeah.
Yep, and a couple Ouijas as well. I have the Rothschilds. Heard of Kingdom Wiki.
There's not many
Old Faith
either.
And the Freya Mysteries and the Secrets of Silence and became fully direct name. So he was a polytheistic. It said. Tim, I saw Tim's custom tongue tool for Mike Disney, the winner from last weekend. My gosh, Tim's going all out on that. So, all right, Anna, you said you had one. Go ahead.
I have one from the Priesthood era. That is, if the most 3rd edition mishmash I think someone could ever come up with.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is kind of interesting, and that's Lashonna, this silver dragon vampire cleric of Cayuse or
from Age of Worms.
From Age of Worms, yes, which is kind of interesting. That is one of the most convoluted mashups of things in one character, so to speak.
She's pretty tough. I ran that.
Yeah, really tough. So I just wanted to mention that if you really want to make something up, 3rd edition is probably your edition. You can kind of make mashups that are whatever.
So I gotta ask that actual adventure she appears in. Who's the author of that?
I think she appears in several of them.
Several.
Yeah. She's one of the major villains. Yes. Yeah.
First, she's kind of on
a gray dragon, vampire,
silver dragon.
Oh, silver, not a Greyhawk dragon. A silver dragon. Okay.
Spoiler: she's not against you at first. I don't think.
Okay. But a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Cleric of Cayuse or Cayuse.
Well, she's Cleric of Cayuse. Yeah, that's wow. Wow.
So that's kind of really a mission. But on the other hand, if you want to really go overboard, you can kind of do that, because it's kind of, yeah, there are some canon Greyhawk traditions where you can really go overboard, and I think she's one of the ones that really takes the price on going all out on every front, so to speak.
Yeah. That's like I don't think I've ever created something that multiple.
No, I don't think I've ever created that much of a mishmash either, but they really went over the top there. So yeah,
crazy.
Kind of, yeah. Yep.
You do, Blood. Then thank you for Josh, because Josh is.
But all it is like if who's the Greyhawk dragon? Why can't I think of that? Is it Fiona?
Oh, you mean the opera singer?
Fiona Erestriel.
Yeah, it would just be if she got bit by a vampire, and she's
I mean, and then became a worshipper and cleric of some deity.
And worshipped a deity, Yep. But surely she has some class levels. I'd have to look at that.
I'm sure she has lots of them. Yep. And she's one of the henchmen of the Prince Siege of Alhaster of Red Hand.
That's where
Joe
it's
at. Hero deity, priestess of whom? I don't know. I don't know that one, Gary, and I still don't know the one that
hang on a second to see if I can find Joe Haiti.
Saw Joe Haiti in person.
Cynican, please elaborate on that. I'm sorry. It went completely over all of our heads.
Well, we'll see. We dig into my Evernote here and see if I can find something. If I get a hit on Joe Haiti.
Yeah, you got us on that one too.
No, I didn't get any hits whatsoever. So
Joe Haiti is different. Oh, is that who he's trying to put down? I'm not
okay.
BB, do me a favor and please don't link stuff from that site anymore. Okay, in chat. Appreciate it. All right. Try and use other sources. Nothing you did, just all right. So I know we missed a whole bunch. We're just bouncing around. It's not your fault. Not your fault. Don't worry. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Couple I'd like to go over that I missed. So Bastion of Faith. Is it published source? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's meant to be. It's yeah. So you have you have a couple that we use. Mother Annan, 10th level cleric. She has C10, says specialty priest here. I made her specialty priest. And you have Mother Fela. I use them both in my Shieldlands campaign. There's a whole bunch of them in here. Priests of Heronius. There's monks. There's paladins. So you have some higher levels in here. Here's one. Herodican Landra, Priest 11 of Heronius. There's a whole bunch of great ones in this reference book. It fills you out completely with spellcasters. So it's definitely a place to go to get those. There's no Hextorians in here, I don't think, but the Hextor is stats for priests are in here, but there aren't any actually Hextorian specific priests noted. So I'm just typing in something. One or two others. What time we got? All right, we're running on. Yeah, we're getting close. What's up? No. Mike, Anna?
Let's see here.
I ran through all my interesting ones I want to talk about.
The rest of them, I'm already past my list that I kind of went through. So yeah.
The heavy City Grok box, Even the Undying, Marklands, these big important clerics, but
I have one more
I have found interesting yet.
Yep, I have one more that I should have thought about beginning that Gary Julian will like, I think.
Okay.
And that's Lorana Calf, Death Knight, Cleric of Hexter.
I wonder if she had something to do with Grenell being Hextor.
Yeah, it might be.
What reference is she in, Anna?
Even the Undying. Yep. And also in the Greyhawk journals or Dragon magazine too, I think. Or yeah, so she's been. I think she was in Dragon magazine first, I think.
The excerpts for
the Death Knight articles, and they were presented, I think, in Dragon magazine portion out, and they were in the Greyhawk journals, and then they were even Dying. She's probably mentioned there too. I don't. Even the Undying were probably first, and then they were detailed more afterwards.
Tim, answer your question. This is where the Priests of Freya came out of.
And she's really cool. Yeah.
She's like, I like her because isn't she the one that like wears people's
lipstick
skin?
and makeup and has a dress on and a frilly dress and stuff, and she's still a Hextorian. She kept all that even after being a Death Knight. So
she's the one responsible for all the animuses running around. I
think so. Yep. Yep.
Are you sure about that?
That's my guess.
Okay.
She was probably part of
That's interesting.
Leatherface, yes.
Is she in a specific page in Ivy the Undying?
Hang on a second here.
So I can just reference her. I'll bring her back there.
Hang on a second. I need to Lorana Kath. I need to do a
do a search. I don't know.
Need to do a Kath here.
Many paths to be an animus. Maybe so.
Well, even the Undying is like
Living Greyhawk Journal 7. She's mentioning.
Yeah, that I don't have quick access to.
Yeah, so she's that's where she is detailed. At least she's mentioned. Oh yeah, she's detailed in that. Yeah, Lady Lorana Kath of Naelax, Cleric 19. Yep.
That's big.
Yep.
I'm sorry, where?
Living Greyhawk Journal 7.
All right, so that's where
she's detailed. Yeah.
She's post Living Greyhawk Gazetteer then, which means that she's not. It's retconned because she's not in the Undying when all the animuses are there.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if she's in Dragon 291 and.
Yeah, it's one of the.
How do you spell her name? I'll take a quick.
L-O-R.
Hang on a second. I posted in chat.
Yeah,
Lorana Kath. Yeah.
Thanks, Lorana. Let me just do that. Nothing. She's not in the Undying at all.
Exactly. She's not in. No. Exactly. She is in. I think the first reference is in Dragon 291.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, she's not in here at all. So
and then Living Greyhawk Journal 7. So yeah.
All right, so she's a Living Greyhawk because 290. I don't know.
Before, I'm not sure where it came, but it's
okay.
She's when all the Death Knights was introduced. So yeah.
Aren't there Death Knights in Ivy the Undying? Or no? I'm just. It's okay.
I'm not sure which direction where they came first, but they mentioned all over the place. So so many ways. So yeah.
She's 400 plus years old. I just, I would make the assumption if she was responsible for creating the animuses that she'd be mentioned.
I'm not sure about that part. I'm reading through the stuff here. So yeah.
Who might know something about Death Knights?
Exactly. I was going to say that's what I was hoping that we get an answer on that
from Gary. Because I don't the animus creation thing, like it's still kind of fuzzy how that happens, right? So
well, if Hextor's in
all right, so Gary created her. Gary states he created her.
Okay, cool. Then we have the source. That's perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's good. So
her efforts resulted in the creation of the animuses. Yep.
Okay.
Thought so.
Yep. See Living Greyhawk Journal number 2 for the Priesthood of Hexter. Yep. Yep.
Gary, was that speculation on your part post because there was no one took claim for animus creation and Ivy the Undying? I mean, because it really wasn't discussed. That's what I'm trying to figure out, and that's what you decided to go with. It's a cool story. I just and I just did not know.
Yeah.
Because
And
it's like
Prince
it's very.
sorry.
No, it's just like it's not. You'd think that they would say, "Here's how they became animuses," but they don't, right?
Well,
And that,
they list that she came up with it, but you don't have to list all the details. That's for the individual DM to come up with. But it's kind of funny. Prince Grinnell avoids her frequent summons as though they were sent by the Reaper himself.
okay.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about Grinnell, and definitely a cool who avoids
but often
who avoids getting turned into one, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, and he often sends servitors who's fallen out of favor with the court of Eastfair in his place, so he gets rid of them. So he uses, it's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so the Priesthood of Hexter creates them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome creation, Gary. I love her. She's awesome. Yep.
It's a good one. It's a good one to finish up with.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Mike, you got one to finish up with?
No, I'm good.
No Sea Princes ones?
Not really. I mean, no one of note.
Okay.
That might be an oversight of mine, but
well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Animus, first, Tim, of course, 1810 from Latin, literally mind, spirit, courage, passion, wrath, akin to Greek animus, wind, also anima. Interesting.
In the same sense, Jay, if you bring your player character to Ul, who's a cleric, you're now the highest level cleric in Ul.
Just survive there for a week and you're guaranteed to be the highest.
I think the highest level cleric in Ul might be Rowell. Something Rowell.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
That is
so cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very, very cool. Should every god have a high priest in a Flanders somewhere? Yes. But should they all be a published source? No. So, right, that's probably.
But I guess it depends on if it's organized religion or not. Some religions are very organized, meaning they have a high priest. Others just have cults here and there. So, yeah.
Well, no, the point I was making was for your campaign, you may want to create one instead of having a published source one. That's what
I'm sure that plenty of religions that need work enough so that needs to be created because no one else done it.
Like I have a 16th level Priestess of Leviator, Holly, from the Dark Brotherhood, the head of the Dark Brotherhood, created by me because it's a guy that no one else has used. This is in Greyhawk for my organization, and it works great. And she has her own custom mini from Mike Disney and everything. So, still said I can't talk to Benny about all that. I know it's a shame. Timing there was bad. We don't want that to happen. Others, and we have now we have we have one solved. That problem should be solved on Sunday, with all hoping, right? So, yep. Alrighty. So look at that. We're almost to 8 minutes of 10. Yes. As of now, he's coming. I'm set. We're gonna have Mike and Anna on for that. So when we talk about some shout outs, I got a fair amount of stuff that's going on I want to discuss. So Anna, why don't you take it away first? Hope you guys enjoyed this discussion, and we'll figure out what we're doing next week. We have a Living Greyhawk one coming up soon too. So what's going on, Anna?
Well, the two main things going on. One is that Dwayne and have started work on the index for the 576 2022 Atlas. So we're wrapping up the last bits there. So we were just coordinating a couple of things so I can update the legend and then have that coming out. So that way we just get the index done. Hopefully it will not be too long. So, but expect a month or 6 weeks or something like that to get the index done. And then there will be a fresh new 576 Atlas with the index and all that coming. And so in the meantime, I'm now ramping up work on the 598 maps. So the 598 map will start getting its TLC and a much needed update. So to bring it up to the same standard as the 576 map. So that's the main thing that will work on this month. And then there's more heraldry and a few other stuff, and also to dig into streaming and this week. So there will be some test runs and stuff on that too. So those are the big things. Yep.
Lots going on. A lot. Mike.
Well,
Mike
it's Wednesday.
You may have a big
so
announcement too.
Oh,
no.
No?
more
Okay.
villains.
I have a new post on Greyhawkery. Another NPC from the land of Bull. A lot of pit fighting going on and all. This is one of the guys responsible. So enjoy.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Other than that, I've been gaming in the Rift of the Frostgiant Jarl. A lot of fun. First time running that module. The 5e version, of course, from Tales of the Yawning Portal. Otherwise, just a lot of hanging. You can find me on Great Talk most nights.
No, very, very cool. And it's good to see Mike is doing a regular, getting some regular posts up there. That's neat. Sheikh Shagan Vashir. Is I said it right?
Yeah, that NPC actually appears in my old article that was in Work Journal back in the day. I was just kind of getting that one and the one I did previously, Noura Ramil, who's also a pitmaster. I was getting those two out of the way because I had already a lot of background information on them. I wanted to spruce them up a little for the blog. Everything that comes after those two will be brand new NPCs.
Okay. Excellent. It's good to see Mike getting his fervor up there with stuff, which is great.
Oh, that's cool, Eric.
Yep.
So before we do giveaways here, and just remember, yes, please sign up. We got 2 classic D&D reprint giveaways going. I should be all caught up on giveaways for everyone. By the way, should be completely caught up. So, what's going on? We're going to raid into Troll Lord, by the way, who are live, and then Troll Lord's going to raid into Will, who's doing the Rook Roost campaign, which is fully funded, by the way. Thank you, everyone. We got that fully funded Sunday night. So, no, we'll go into Troll Lord games. Troll Lord games, when they get done, we'll go into Will, okay? We'll bounce them around there. So, we're going to finish this adventure finally, because we already 953 is already done from the new recruits. The Sister's Calling. We got our albino Sul half elven individuals, all this undead running around, and yes, we're going to see what happens there. Apparently, someone is searching for some Sul lost lore, or to become more powerful as something in a Sul, creation. So that's what's going on with that. We'll see what happens. That's tomorrow night. Then the big one is Sunday. Steve Winter, who's 5 decades of work, right, from the 80s all the way to now. There's a lot to discuss.
Yep.
So much I don't know if we'll be able to do it in one show.
I think he's still active because he worked on Cobalt Press stuff and stuff.
He wrote for Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Okay, that too.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got a lot. We did a lot of research one night, and yeah, he's done a crazy amount of work, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. Please get me your questions, everyone. So I'd like Mike's got his. Mike will be joining us so that he can ask the ones that he wants to ask, because he was instrumental in getting him to us. So that's a great thing. Then what else is going on in the future month of May and into June? So I am test bubbling a new show next Sundays, a week from Sunday's Gavin. Yes. And I stole it from one of the largest streamers on Twitch, Mizkif. He has a show called Schooled. So we're going to try something. Lord Gazumba's D&D Trivia Challenge. So I have 4 contestants. The Mandy, King Bashman, Darling Creepshow, and the ever mysterious Tim. With the backup of Josh Pop, Zarathon, in case one of them cannot make it. But all competing for prizes. Also, as the game goes, we'll be doing drawings, and we'll attach each of those contestants to someone in the audience, and they'll get the exact same winning gift. Everyone will get something, but yes, there'll be a winner's prize, second, third, and fourth. It'll be rules, history, D&D, social media, Twitch.
Awesome.
Okay, so it's not going to be just me trying to embarrass people because they don't know anything about old school. It's not going to. It's going to be like. So yes, thank you. Yes, Rob. I'm really excited about this test of a show. So Anna will have a night off from.
Oh, good.
Yes, because I'll have a nice 4 box of 4. I already sent them dry erase boards so they can put it right up. Small ones. No cheating. Yes, we're going to try this. I think it's going to be fun. And if it works out and then people like it, if you like this.
I need to watch it.
Yes. So Lurga's it came to me because he was having all these problems. Misk was having problems in school for people cheating. His first prize was $50,000 at the end of it. From all the high-level streamers. But I don't think we'll have that issue here because this is going to be for fun. And I may bust some stones during this thing. Right? So that is next Sunday. Okay? Also, within all this, I'm going to start as filler. I guess you could use the word filler as the right term. This is not the Gary Julian one. This is mine. I'm going to start deep diving. Yes, this is the right one. I'm going to start deep diving into a couple of ventures during Gabbins. So, on the Wall of Fame, how these modules and adventures affected our campaign and what I think you can do to expand on them. So, of course, I'm going to start with Hamlet and Temple of Elemental Evil because it was so early in our campaign. I'll start with some of those. I'll go to some that were before we even did the campaign, like we'll do one on Tumahars and Shokanth. I'm sorry, Tumahars and Tomokan, which we ran well before 1980. Look, we got a Games Tavern coming in. Thanks, Games Tavern. Great to see you.
Cool.
Thank you so very much for that raid. Please hang out as we're doing shout outs, and we're actually going to hit raiding into Troller Games shortly. But I really appreciate it. Let me hit some love.
Get entered in the drawing.
Yes, please get into the 2 drawings. And so this Wall of Fame, I will highlight, and we'll try and get through a lot of them and talk about the effect. Because you go, why the hell are they on your wall, right? And I want to talk about that specifically. So I think that'll help other DMs give ideas, and that was my whole idea for doing that Wall of Fame. But once again, let me go back one. Let me go back one here. Back to this. To the people who rated in. Thank you. Please check this out. A week from Sunday, people just rated in. I think it's going to be really a fun time. I'm going to start Lord Gazumba's D&D Trivia Challenge on Gabbin next Sunday, not this Sunday coming up, the Sunday after. That's the 15th. That'll be, and there's our contestants, and we'll have a real fun time on that Sunday, May 15th. What else is coming up? Saturday, whoops, I just closed it out. Let me 1 second. Saturday, May 21st, the return of 2 Drink Minimum, Ed Greenwood and crew playing in a wonderful game. That was I hit the wrong button. First wrong button. So, oh my gosh. Oh, now they rated back in with one more. So one was running behind. Thanks. Awesome. Ed Greenwood, our special guest, Alyssa Faden, is playing. She's playing a human female paladin of Heronius, wielding a battle axe. Tony Winslow Brill, Eric Boyd, Anna Meyer, Eric Mengi. The return of two drink minimum and adventure. No good deed. ... You can figure out what that means. So that's the name of the adventure, and that'll be Saturday night, May 21st, coming up, and that'll be our next one. Now, I don't have this a banner for this yet because I'm still finishing out. But the Slav Squad returns on Saturday, June 11th, and we don't have a special guest for that yet. But the whole crew is confirmed. So Mandy, Myriad, Little Bones, Darling, MJ, and Zarathon are all confirmed. The full Slav Squad will be in there. The name of that adventure is Deception. I just love those names. Maybe Admiral, maybe goes unpunished, but you never know. I could be just throwing a curveball with my mind games there. Some other things. See you, Michael. Some other things. We got a Tim game coming up. We have we're trying to get the Wizards 3. I have 2/3 of it. We're still trying to get a Dragonlance guest. I'll just tell you, we have Ed Greenwood and Jim Ward. Okay, I mean, my gosh, you know, I may just have those two on and say, hey, Dragonlance people, you don't want to come on, screw you. You know what I mean, for that discussion. Can you imagine having Ed and Jim Ward on the same show? So we may just go with just the two of them if I can't get the third one. So, yep, and that'll be sometime in June as well. So, and then our normal schedule, 3 streams this week, and I think 3 streams next week. My wife said, hey, give me some free weekend time. I'm like, okay. So, strike, 2 strikes there. But did Dragonhelm write anything, Bloodwild? Did he write any books? I want someone who actually wrote some of the novels, right? Because this is, you know, I got Ed Greenwood and Jim Ward, so yeah, that may be good enough. You know, we'll get Elminster and Drawmidge here. So yeah, I know Winter wrote one Dragonlance module. I don't know if that adventure book. I don't know if that's enough though to ask him to come back for the Wizards 3, right? I'm trying. I'd love to get Doug. If anyone knows how to get to Doug Niles, that's the big. I think Doug would be great because he's a Greyhawk person. He's done a ton of Dragonlance work. I haven't had luck yet. So that's what's going on. Anna, Mike, any last words here for tonight? Another great show. Another great idea, Mike. Really appreciate it.
Thank you to everyone in the chat and everyone who watched. And yep.
Gitano, let's walk before we run. If I start pushing him, I want to make sure he comes on the show first Sunday before I start pushing anyone for other, appearances. Let's get through Sunday first. Yep. Well, thank you. Let's do the 2 giveaways. Last call. Give you everyone 20 seconds. All right. First choice. 2 major books, which is Treasures of Greyhawk or Greyhawk the Adventure Begins, and then one of the modules I have in my hand. All right, so we'll do 2 sets, and then we're going to raid into Troller Games. Would Richard Knock work? Alex, I don't know. I don't even know who that is. You and I can talk via Facebook Messenger in the near future. Give me another week because it's sometime in June we're going to schedule this, so we got some time still. So. All right, closing it out. Boom, 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 boom. Guess what? It would help if I reopened Streamlabs. I closed it. I got ahead of myself. By the way, see you all tomorrow night. Oh, I hit Gavin again. Tomorrow night we finish this adventure and hopefully, who knows? I hit Gavin again twice. Forget it, man. See, I'm getting goofy and tired. It's been a long work week already.
Yep.
Closing this out, and we're going to see who wins these. Entries are closed. The winner is first one, Balfrin.
Cool.
Grats. Second
Congratulations.
Winner. Well-dressed gorilla.
Kudos on that one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Is he on? Well-dressed gorilla is on. All right, so Well-Dressed Gorilla, get with me, please, and whisper. Tell me what you want. We can talk about that, and then oh my gosh, here comes another raid. Yeah. All right, Well-Dressed, get me and make sure I have your name and address and all that stuff too. So I think I may, but or may not. I may not. So Tabletop Misfits, thank you. We're just finishing up, and we just did our giveaways, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much for the love. We're really trying to, like I said, grow the communities here. Thank you for the raids. Val, just get with me in Discord because I got you. There's like a choice of 2 and then a choice of 6. Okay. That's why I'll say get with Well-Dressed Gorilla too and figure out something that he or she likes as well, and then we'll go from there. So stream is bugging out for me. That's all right then. I will get you on Discord. I know where to find you. So thank you all for a great show. Really appreciate it, Anna and Mike. See you tomorrow night, 7:30. Reaper miniature giveaways tomorrow night. Our normal Reaper night usually the first Thursday of the month, and then we'll see you again after that on Sunday. I'm taking a weekend off. Got a lot of stuff going on for the Steve Winter interview, which is going to be wonderful. thank you. Let's raid. We're gonna raid into Troller Games, and they're gonna finish very soon, and then they're gonna raid into Wicked Studios, where Will has his Rook Roost. The Kickstarter's almost done. He's passed his goal. He hit his first Kickstarter bump goal, and let's see how far we can get there. Gotcha, Bloodwild. I'll check that out. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all soon. Good night. Well, Dress, I got you in a sec. Let me set this raid up, and I'll get you in chat here because it'll still be on. All right, give me 1 sec. Dun 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 dun. By the way, thank you for last weekend getting over 8,000 followers too. So it's really been awesome. I think Chuck is actually DMing this. Chuck is DMing this game, everyone. So go in and say hi to Chuck. 81, that's awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Channel. Let me just go there. Alright, why didn't it go? It's not giving me the option to go to Troll Lord. There we go.